Hi loved ones, welcome back to my channel. So here are some time wasting behaviors that you should avoid if you really want to grow. If it's your first time here, my name is Annette and I make videos on self-improvement, lifestyle and productivity. So it would really mean a lot to me if you would stick around and join the family by subscribing to my channel. So, time wasting behaviors. What are these behaviors? Lately, I've just been feeling like time goes so fast. And I know a day has 24 hours, but I feel like for my days, some days I have 15 hours, some days I have 10 hours, some days I have 20 hours. And I just feel like time is not enough, and it will never be enough if I continue to practice these behaviors. So I thought, why not share with you guys these kinds of behaviors that I think waste a lot of our times, either unknowingly or unknowingly. And I'm still in the process of like trying to avoid or to change my lifestyle and avoid those kinds of behaviors. I usually complain I don't have time for a lot of things, and that's because most of my time I spend it doing these kinds of behaviors. And just a disclaimer, these behaviors are so subjective to me. They're just behaviors that I have learned over time that they're the ones which actually waste my time. So perhaps they might not be the same behaviors for you, but I've just thought of sharing them, and whoever would feel like connected to these same kinds of behaviors, maybe I'll be able to help them in one way or another. Yeah, so let me just put it out there. Let's just get straight into it. So I'm currently a full-time student, which means that most of my days are filled with classes, which is fine. But I usually have that extra time, that free time that I don't have classes, where I am supposed or I should be doing some other activities. But with the fact that I haven't actually written down the activities that I have to do during the day, I might have thought of them in my head. I might have been thinking I would do this, and this, apart from attending classes. But the fact that I haven't written them down, most of the time, or in most cases, I usually forget about some of the things or most of the things, and I just spend my day just like that without a plan. And this actually has wasted a lot of my time, and it's just recently that I've realized that I have to actually write everything down. Like I have to plan my day, what I'm going to do at what particular time. And one of the importances of having a to-do list is just brings a sense of fulfillment or achievement, a sense of achievement, I would say. So if you've planned like, okay, I'll do 5 things in a day, once you achieve them and like tick them, once you do them, it actually at the end of the day it actually brings that achievement. So you won't really feel like you haven't done much, even though they're just 2 things in your to-do list. But the fact that you actually do them, you take the time to do them, that's all that it takes. That's all that's important. So having a to-do list or planning your day is one of the behaviors that you should improve from now on if you really want to grow, and if you want to see or feel that you have achieved something in your day. This is something that I'm still struggling with, and trust me, it takes a lot of my time. It wastes a lot of my time because I spend most of my time worrying. I spend a lot of my time waiting, and I've just realized, apart from wasting my time, actually overthinking undermines my happiness, undermines my success, and it actually I'm not getting anything positive out of it. So instead of sitting down and overthink of situations, why not go ahead and actually do them? If you're thinking of things that you can't control, or if you're thinking of things that would eventually happen, why don't take that time and actually do something else productive? So overthinking is one of the behaviors that I know a lot of people are struggling with, and just find a way to actually overcome it because it wastes a lot of our time. So let's say, for example, you've decided to tackle your assignment, you've decided to start that project that you want to do. So if you start the project without actually preparing for it, making preparations, collecting all the data, collecting all the information, and after that, that's when you start executing. Research says if you spend a little time in preparation, then you spend a lot of time in executing. And that's what I've been doing most of the time. I would just wake up, decide, okay, I'm going to do this project, I'm going to do this assignment. I haven't collected any data, I haven't collected any information, and then I just start off like that. And I've realized that if I do that, if I just start the work without making plans, it means that I'll take a long time to do the work. And in most cases, with during the time that I'll be doing the work, in the midst of me doing the work, I just lose interest, because first, maybe I might not know what I'm actually doing, what I'm actually writing about, and two, is just because I didn't have a goal. I didn't have a plan. Okay, what's the plan of this? What do I want to achieve at the end of this project? What do I want to achieve at the end of this time that I have decided to do my assignment? And there is this quote that I read the other day that said, when the purpose is not known, abuse is inevitable. And that just clicked, because if you don't know the purpose of you starting the assignment, if you don't know the purpose of why do you want to, or how do you want to do it, it means you can just abuse it after, which means like you just spend a lot of time doing the work, and in the midst of it, even if you just decide to leave it, it's totally fine with you, because you didn't know the purpose of it at the beginning. So I would say make a plan of everything before actually starting executing, because that's when you'll actually save a lot of your time, instead of just going straight into the project and just do things as you go. Of course, for some people it's okay. For some people, they are able to practice it that way. But for other people like me, when I start work without a plan, I usually spend a lot of time executing it, and in the midst of that time, I just lose interest, and that means that's a lot of time gone, wasted. This is one of the behaviors, again, which wastes a lot of my time. And demanding perfection actually limits your fulfillment in life. So the amount of time that you take, the amount of effort that you take, the energy, emotions that you want something to be perfect, it actually reduces your production. And it's been said all over, every now and then, that there is nothing perfect in this world, and you can't get to perfection if you don't pass, or if you don't go through the process of imperfection. So I would sit there and, for example, filming videos. Sometimes I usually film a video and decide not to upload it. I feel like it's not good enough. I feel like it's not perfect. People won't view it. People won't watch it. And I've just realized that wastes a lot of time, because I'll never get into to the perfection level that I want if I don't go through the process of getting there. So I would say, don't wait for perfection, because first, perfection will never come. Perfection will never come. And as you wait for perfection, your time just goes to waste. So take one step at a time, and don't wait for perfection, because perfection won't come, and perfection will waste a lot of your time. Now, this is different. This differs from person to person. Some people, when they multitask, that's when they save a lot of time. That's when they become more productive. They do a lot of work. And for some people, multitasking is just not their thing. And as for me, again, there are some situations that I can multitask. There are some situations that I cannot multitask. So, for example, this is one of the behaviors that I've been observing myself. Let's say I've decided to work on my assignment, right? And so I'm there trying to read a book or trying to research some things. Then at the same time, I'm listening to music, which means I have my headphone on. these two things, for some reasons, I just lose concentration. So it's either my mind would be listening to that music fully, or my mind would be trying to research or to do that particular work. And in that case, that's wastes most of my time. And it might sound a bit weird because most people gain concentration as they listen to music, but for me, it's just different. Whenever I'm studying, I usually like to study completely silent, because if I have music on, I just can't work. It just doesn't happen for me. Yeah, so multitasking in that kind of situation doesn't work. But if in other kind of situation, let's say I'm cooking dinner at the same time I'm cleaning, at the same time folding my clothes, those kinds of situations are okay. But for the other kinds of situations, I just can't do it. So if multitasking is not for you, then just stick to one task, concentrate on that one task, be productive, and you just realize you spend little time on that particular task. Then that's when you move to another task and another task and another task. Yeah. Now, another behavior that wastes a lot of time that most people do, including myself, is spending a lot of time on social media, spending a lot of time watching Netflix, TV, YouTube videos, which I'm guilty of. That wastes a lot of our time. Research says a person spends an average of 28 hours a week, sorry, 28 hours a week watching TV, videos, Netflix, and also spends, I think, 10 hours a day of screen time. So that's um, on social media in general. Now, don't get me wrong, social media nowadays has been one of the platforms where people gain a lot, people advertise their business, people do business in social media. If you don't find a way to control yourself in using social media, that's where the problem is. That's where you become unproductive. So I would say, for me, sometimes on my free time, I would say, let me spend 2 hours. No, let me spend like 20 minutes just going through Instagram and see what's going on, TikTok, blah, 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 blah. And the next thing I know, it's not 20 minutes, it's an hour. Sometimes it's even 2 hours. Sometimes I don't sleep early. I'm just on social media. And I've just realized that wastes a lot of my time, because then sometimes they say the internet is a warehouse of useless information. Sometimes, not all the time. So, yeah, I feel like we have to control ourselves when it comes to social media. Know your limits in terms of how you're going to utilize it, how you're going to spend your time in social media. Make it be productive and not be unproductive, because then if it is unproductive, it means that you would feel bad about yourself spending all those hours on social media instead of doing something productive. So it's something that I'm still working on myself in terms of cutting out hours I spend on social media, reducing my screen time. I think before I would spend, I think, 10 hours, 11 hours a day on social media. That's how bad it was. But now I think I've reduced to 7 hours a day, and I'm targeting to at least use 4 hours or 2 hours a day on social media, because being a content creator, as being a YouTuber as well, I have to be on social media for me to get some content to film about or to vlog about. So there's no way I'm going to completely avoid social media, but I'll just find a way to actually reduce my screen time, or yeah, reduce my hours on social media, just so I save a lot of time and do other productive things. So, as a human, there's a point where, as you're working, there's a point where your focus and concentration just starts to fall dramatically. And from that point onwards, there's no way that you're able to actually concentrate enough. So, if you force yourself to continue working without taking a break, to continue grinding and all that, you just find yourself doing the same task over and over again. So let's say you're working on your project, you find yourself reading a certain paragraph over and over again just to try to understand it, but that's because your concentration is already gone, your focus is already gone because you're tired. So learn to take breaks, and actually don't feel guilt about taking breaks, because taking a break actually rejuvenates your energy and rejuvenates your mind. And after the break, I'm sure you'll be able to kickstart from where you stopped and continue with your work and actually be productive. So taking breaks is one of the ways that you're going to save your time. So last but not least, we have transit time, and this is the time between one activity and another activity. So for example, in my case, transit time would be between one class and another class, or it would be traveling from my workplace to my house. And that's the time that I usually waste a lot. And I would say we have to use that time productively. And I know some people use that time as a refreshing time, which is totally fine. If it's just a short time, let's say 30 minutes walk, it's okay. But if you're spending like 4 hours, let's say on a train, moving from one point to another, it's better you use that time productively. Perhaps listen to a podcast, listen to I don't know, motivational speaker, or use that time to plan, to make your plans, write your plans down. Use that time if you're on a train, get some work done, just use it productively. And yeah, especially if you're moving from one point to another almost every day. So let's say if it's 4 hours a day, which means it's in a week 5 hours, that's 20 hours in a week. So if you use those 20 hours in a week productively, I'm sure there is a lot that you're going to gain from them. So those are some of the time wasting behaviors that I thought of sharing with you guys, which would probably help someone out there to actually realize that these behaviors waste their time and start working on them and improve themselves. Yeah, so thank you so much for watching. Comment down below what other behaviors you think are wasting a lot of our time, which we might not know of. And until next time, stay positive and stay blessed. Bye bye.